off by just first introducing Andriëtte. How are you? So good to have you here.
Oh, it's so good to be here. Thank you for everybody for coming. This is my first and Tarryn's first demo.
Not
class.
my first, but definitely the biggest. Definitely the biggest.
We do have an online audience joining us today as well from home. If you have any questions, put them into the chat box. We do have Simon from MasterChef Australia who will be answering some questions as well in the background. So Andriëtte, please tell us a little bit more about what you're actually making for us today.
So I'm quite excited to be making my butternut dish that I actually made in the finals. It was my final dish, and I got a lot of people looking at me going, I'm crazy to do. It was a vegetarian dish for my final dish, but the judges asked me, what are you on a plate? And I was like, well, that's me on a plate. So I took a chance, and I'm still very proud of it. I did make some adjustments.
Me too. I think it's such a great vegetable, and I can't wait for you to show us what you're going to be doing with that today. Tarryn, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you'll be doing on this side of the kitchen.
Hello. So myself is now a full-time cook. That's
Fantastic.
what I do. And today what I will be doing is preparing an accompaniment for Andriëtte's amazing butternut dish. So I'll be making a mushroom croquette with fillets from on the green side, so a sort of vegan alternative to chicken. It's absolutely delicious, and it goes so well with so many different things. So yeah, we're super excited to get that going.
And the great thing is we will be bringing out some of those for you guys to try as samples in just a few minutes. So you'll get to kind of taste along as we get to smell the beautiful flavors happening in the kitchen here. Okay, right, should we get started? Well, how are we beginning?
I can start.
Yep.
Tarryn, do you want to start?
Well, what I can do while you're starting is get my onions sweating off with the croquettes, and then you can have a go.
Okay.
Amazing.
We're used to people screaming at us, telling us that we should start, so this is weird.
Your time has begun.
I hope the
Your time
lockdown
has begun. Where's the clock? This is freaking me out. I think that for my final dish, what was really important is to add, even though we're just doing a very basic, simplistic butternut, is to really spice it up, that it almost gets the sensation of a steak. So I used a lot of spices, smoked paprika, normal paprika, I used cumin, coriander, and a lot of different spices to really get it beautiful. And then what I love to do is I like to use the griddle brand to get that seared look, so that you have the feeling that it is a proper main element on your plate.
It also looks beautiful, of course, with those griddle lines.
It does. So,
if you just need to wipe your hands.
thank you. Oh.
We get spices everywhere, I know, understand. I'm a very messy cook. My partner calls me Hurricane Amy in the kitchen. So this already looks 10 times neater than what my setup would look like at home.
It's, having been in MasterChef for that long, you have no choice.
You're mise en place, right?
Yeah.
Keep it tidy. And I see we're sweating off the onions here. What have we put in the onions? A bit of herb?
Yes, so a bit of thyme. Mushroom and thyme are amazing friends together. They just play so
Absolutely.
well. So we're getting the onions sweating off with some thyme. We're going to add garlic, add the mushrooms, and on the green side fillets, and then just get these cooking so all the flavors get to know each other.
What mushrooms are we using? Are they just button mushrooms or brown?
We're using Denny portobellini mushrooms, so the beautiful brown ones. They've got a lovely nutty flavor.
Lovely.
Lots of umami. So when you bite into it, you're just going to get this like whoosh of like mushroom and herbs, right?
Delicious. You can really smell the onion already with the beautiful thyme. Divine. And here we're getting our heat on for that butternut.
Getting the heat on.
Here behind the scenes.
And what I also actually added for today, and it's as inspiration for my dear Tarryn friend, she loves a pickle. So I've learned from her, if you add a pickle, it's just better.
Add a
pickle. So a pickle is actually quite easy. You just heat up I prefer red wine vinegar and sugar. That's it. You get that to a boil, and then you add your red onion. You let it boil for a bit, then you take it off the heat, and you just leave it in the vinegar, and it starts to pickle. Now, when I add this to my plate, everybody is happy. And I have to give it to Tarryn, honestly. Like, Tarryn.
Pickles are the answer. I mean, they just cut through lots of richness, and they just add an extra dimension of flavor. It's like Sheet's way of making a dish really fancy.
It is.
Which is why I use it all the time.
And Tarryn, just talk us through what you've done here with the fillets.
So I'm frying off the fillets in the onions with the herbs now, and that just adds extra flavor to them. I mean, they're really delicious on their own, but this is just to make sure that they marry really well with the mushrooms. And then once the mushrooms go in there and they've sweated off all their water, then you can start building up the sort of inside of the croquette.
Lovely.
The thing about croquettes is that you want them to be able to be tender and delicious inside, not too gummy, and you don't want there to be like an overpowering sort of floury flavor or anything like that.
Yes.
So it's very important to just get as much excess moisture out before doing any of that.
And you were telling me a little bit earlier that you made a lot of little fried balls, croquettes, arancinis, all of that on MasterChef.
Yes, I think, I suppose I can tell the joke now, but at the time, we were trying to find a way to sneak, we were being a bit childish, we were trying to find a way to sneak the word balls into every episode. And so we had a lot of fried balls. So we had arancini, we had puff arancini.
So many balls.
So many different kinds of fried morsels of goodness. And so this was an homage to MasterChef as well, knowing that Andriëtte was making her finale dish. I thought it would be a little bit tongue-in-cheek, you know?
I love it. Obviously, you two have become quite good friends through the season and even afterwards. Tell us a bit more about what you're doing at the moment.
So while my butternut and my pickle is getting fried and pickled, I also wanted for my final dish to make a sauce, and I absolutely love red pepper and tomatoes. And if you make a beautiful sauce, you roast them for quite a time, and then you blend them up. It's just divine, and it makes such a beautiful color. So I'm prepping the red pepper.
Peppers,
So we're going to put that in a bowl, and we're going to put it in the oven. The guys there at the back are amazing; they're doing it for us, and just season it with rosemary and salt and pepper. That's one thing we learned throughout MasterChef.
Season.
Salt. I think that's the only thing Greg ever said to us. Add salt.
It's getting steamy here in the
We
kitchen.
need more salt.
It lacks some seasoning.
It is not seasoned enough.
You know he's around the corner.
That's a terrible version of him, but I can't help it.
But we are here all day, so we can do better.
And I see your butternut starting to get those beautiful griddle lines.
Yeah, I just love the fact that if you do it's a butternut, but if you do it on a different plate or pan, immediately it gets another texture. You know, you get that griddle lines, you get that caramelization, and that's what makes it so delicious and also appetizing for your eyes. You eat with your eyes.
The eyes, absolutely. It's something we were speaking about a lot yesterday in some of our talks and demonstrations. We've had some beautiful chefs on, and we will continue to have some beautiful chefs throughout the weekend showing us their amazing dishes. And I think color and texture, two big themes that have come through. You want a variety of textures, and here we're going to have crunchiness and kind of inner softness from those croquettes. We're going to have a variety of textures on your side. So this is just to let you guys all see, we've got our beautiful bowl with our tomatoes and red pepper.
Yeah, so I would also add some rosemary, different spices, salt and pepper, garlic. Always add garlic. This is our best friend. And if everybody eats it, it's fine.
Exactly. If we're all having a tear today, no problem.
Who cares?
And do you add fresh rosemary here, or do you use dried? Okay.
Whenever I roast things in the oven, I prefer fresh herbs. I do love dried herbs, but rosemary especially, I love to do the fresh ones. And I just add that to it. Get it nice and oiled up. Olive oil, coconut oil, I'm not so fussy about that. And get it into the oven. So, and you can just have an eye on it.
Yes, keep an eye. I have to say this, the fillets with the mushrooms and everything here, they're smelling beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. And what
So
are you adding
exciting.
now? Is it a little bit of spring onion?
Some freshly chopped spring onion. It's a good contrast for that sort of earthy, warm flavor of the vegan chicken and the mushrooms. And when you add it fresh before you roll the croquettes, you still get that little pop, that little zing when you bite into
lovely.
it. It's not one-dimensional and sort of flat. So I'm mixing this together. No. You're supposed to wait till it cools, but by the magic of demos, we'll pretend that this is cool.
Exactly.
With
our limited time.
With our limited time. And then what you'll do is you'll actually add in two of my favorite ingredients in vegan kitchens, but also gluten-free cooking, is chickpea flour. So it's an amazing binder.
So
it's great for
versatile.
dredges. But then at the same time, it adds lots of lots of delicious richness to something like a croquette without actually making it taste floury. So it's a good alternative if you're not able to eat like a wheat flour.
Absolutely. So I'm actually allergic to wheat, so this is a great tip for me because I always look for alternative flours within my cooking. So chickpea flour, it also absorbs quite a lot of liquid, right? So you've got to be quite careful when you're using it for sauces or baking or something, just to adjust the liquids that you put in.
Exactly. So you sort of add and then you see and you add and you see, but it all comes together amazingly well. And like I said, there's none of that sort of like thick,
a flowery
flavor that gets into your mouth. And it's very neutral, which is fantastic for something like this.
Yes, absolutely. How are we doing over here? Let's take a look at what's going into this little blender.
Wow, I think my butternut looks...
Wow,
Butternut.
the caramelization on that is stunning.
Butternut looks amazing. Yeah, let me show it.
Very beautiful. Look at that, everyone.
Who does not want to
fantastic.
eat that? I mean, that looks amazing. So while thinking of my plating, I have red from the red pepper sauce. I have the orange caramelization from the butternut. So I wanted to add a pop of green. And what better than a little pesto? So with the vegan, you just, instead of Parmesan, you add nutritional yeast. And that just gives that cheesy yumminess to it. And I personally love to add mint to my pestos. I love mint. I think it adds freshness. It also adds sweetness. So I add, if you make a pesto, add mint to it. It's so delicious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It definitely adds that pop of freshness, brightness of flavor. And what else are we putting in there?
I have some cashew nuts.
Okay.
Again, that adds some creaminess. I have salt and pepper. I add basil, some coriander, mint. So it's just very herbaceous, beautiful pesto.
And do you just use some olive oil, or what do you use as a binding?
I use olive oil, and then this is your best friend. Lemon.
Fresh
is your
lemon juice.
best friend. You can't go without it. We have a lemon fan.
We are using the lemon gold lemons as well, so they beautifully.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. As you can see, they look like
I almost don't want to cut
they're
it
such
up.
display lemons, but they really are delicious
using
and
it.
seedless. No, go for it. They can be used. Don't worry
it's
about
just
it.
for display.
They're like. Don't you think they're looking like they're smiling at the audience? They're so pretty. Pretty
They
lemons.
are. They are.
But as you can see, they're actually seedless, which is great because I'm one of those people that you're squeezing it and then a seed comes out and you're like, oh. Anyway, put it all together, but these are actually so convenient to use.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Truly amazing. So yeah, I think whenever you taste your food, remember there's the salt, sweet, bitter, sour. If ever you're unsure what your food needs, it's almost 100% of the time lemon. For me, it's always lemon. Just add lemon, and it makes it fantastic.
It definitely helps to bring out the flavors for so many different ingredients, like your grilled broccolis, that kind of thing, just so beautiful.
And lemon zest as well.
Lemon zest. Jenny was talking about that in her talk earlier. For those of you who were here for that, she definitely uses the lemon zest for the aromatics, the flavor, the perfume that comes off.
It's amazing.
And she adds the lemon right at the end. So how are our croquettes doing here? I see these are the prepared ones, right?
These are the prepared ones. So once you're done, you're going to have a lovely little ball of mixture like this. It's still lovely and textural on the inside. And then you can just roll these into balls once they're cool. And you're going to dredge them. And the dredge is made of a 1-to-1 ratio of chickpea flour and water. You roll it in the batter and then you roll it in breadcrumbs or whatever kind of crumb you like after that. And that's a very simple gluten-free way of dredging things. And there's also no egg in it, which is
fantastic.
Quite fantastic.
100% vegan.
They come out looking like this. And then you pop them in oil. And the trick with frying croquettes is that you don't want the oil to be too hot.
Okay.
Because what happens is it burns before it cooks. So the outside is really burnt, but then the inside is kind of
How do you know when the oil is the right temperature?
So I usually taste it by dropping like a little sprig of...
Like a little onion in maybe or something?
Yeah.
Just to
and if it like sizzles and starts floating to the top, that's when you know it's okay. But if it darkens immediately, you know it's too hot.
Right. So one of the tricks I learned a few years ago was to take a wooden spoon as well, and you just pop that in, and if it starts making little bubbles around the wooden spoon immediately, then you know that it's the right temperature. If it makes too many, you got to take it down a bit.
Yeah, that's a really great tip because I'm like this.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I'm just like, oh, it's hot enough.
A good guesstimate. I think
The more you
we're
know.
about there.
It is. There's a really cool cookbook by a man named Francis Malman, and he talks about how if you want to know how hot a grill is, you need to know if you can hold your hand over it for more than 3 seconds. If it's too hot, then you know it's too hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good tip.
So these are going to fry for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Halfway through, you're going to flip them so that they get golden on all sides.
Beautiful.
You can already see they're starting to form a beautiful sort of coating on the outside, and that's just the sort of chickpea flour doing its magical work. And then, leave it alone, don't touch it. You'll start to notice that it goes golden. The top will also become quite matte, and that's when you know it needs to be flipped.
Okay.
And then drain it on paper towels. So
Also
we're just
great
gonna
tip.
get
We've
these.
got some paper towels. We can
Yeah.
set those out onto a platter. Here we go.
Thank you.
Right, let's have a look at how things are going over here.
I'm pretty much, because of the magic of demo, ready to plate. What I did do, because this butternut here
Smells
is
amazing.
I know, so good. This one is quite thin. I don't feel it necessary to put it in the oven because it's already cooked. But if it is a bit thicker, like the one I did in my final dish, it was a little bit thicker. I did put it in the oven at the end, just to really get it caramelized and cooked through. So just, I think eyeball you don't want to put this on the grill for too long, otherwise it will start to burn.
Sure.
You just need it to caramelize, and then you get it into your oven. So yeah.
Perfect. I think it's a great tip for any type of veggie that we're cooking like this. With Jenny's show earlier, we did the aubergines in a very similar way, just to get that beautiful color with the griddle lines,
Yeah.
and then to finish it in the oven.
Finish it
and
in
you
the
do that
oven.
at what, like 180 degrees?
Yeah, so I'll put it in for 180 and just keep an eye on it because you are already halfway cooked. It doesn't have to go in for 40 minutes. Then it will just start to disintegrate.
Yeah, we don't want mush. We want it to hold its shape,
There's
right?
nothing wrong with mash, but no, not for this dish.
All right, so what's next, ladies?
I can
how
actually
are
start
croquettes
plating.
doing?
They are looking good. They're getting lovely and
You can
golden.
see they're getting
as
that
you
golden
can
color.
see,
Incredible.
And I think they just need to cook a bit more on the other side, and then they'll be ready to plate.
Amazing. Great. So we're getting close to the creative
The eating
part
part.
of the plating section of
plating
our
part.
demonstration today.
Yeah, I think that was something that you kind of struggle with in MasterChef is the plating. Because first of all, you have 1 minute to do it if you're a bad planner like me. So you'd like, and you just throw everything on the plate and you can't get it as beautiful as you hoped for. Or you can prep and try and believe, but in the end, you just have to trust your gut. And what I really appreciated is towards the end, the judges and people started to tell me that they can identify my plate. So that showed that I started to build a signature, which I think you should embrace. You know,
Yes.
mine is very feminine, very like little plant, like garden vibes. But I liked it. You know, I'm not as simplistic. Some people are very simplistic. I'm a bit more organic. So that's how you have to embrace who you are
You've got
when
your
you're in
own
this
signature
journey.
style, and that's what we
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Those are really looking beautiful and golden now.
I'm so excited.
Stunning. We're getting close, everyone.
Yes.
Amazing.
Speaking about plating, are there any tips that you can actually share with the
Yeah.
audience, just around like little tricks and tips?
Yeah, one thing that we actually had a little bit of a masterclass about plating. And they taught us that, again, be more organic, don't be too, except if it's your personality to be perfect, you can, but try to let the ingredients speak for itself. And another thing is to work in threes or in
Or
fives.
like uneven numbers kind of thing.
Like equal numbers are a bit weird. Your eyes will be like, what is happening? So always try to get 3 or 5 of something, you know? And then texture. Texture is so important. We got hammered on that a lot.
yeah.
If you don't have texture, so they actually complained about my dish on the finals being too soft.
Okay.
Because
You need a bit more crunch in
I
there.
needed more crunch. So today, I'm adding more crunch.
We always learn. So
I'm like,
this,
a little bit too late, but it's fine. So I just roasted some cashew nuts and sunflower seeds. Again, just texture. It just adds something beautiful. And the pickled onion also adds a great textural element. So yeah,
And I think the sort of, like you say, it's the nuttiness that also goes so well with the butternut. It's a beautiful combination.
butternut, nut. Cute.
No,
You
dear.
too.
Oh dear.
So this is now the ready-made sauce.
Yeah, so they made this sauce for me. It basically, I don't know, it comes out like this.
Looks beautiful. Beautiful
So you
color
just
as well.
blend it up at the end. That's it. You roast it and blend it.
And you do blend it up with some oil or something like that, or is it just the veg?
I don't add oil. I don't think it's necessary because you've already added oil when it was roasting.
Putting it in the oven.
Yeah, so it's not necessary to add more oil. If this is quite orange, so I think that because the butternut is also orange, you want this to be a bit more red.
Okay.
So I would have maybe added a little bit more red pepper to create a little bit more contrast, because at the moment it's very orange. But it
the
always
butternut
comes
does
out
have
different.
those beautiful dark lines as well to show
yes.
the difference.
Yes. No, it's delicious. Let me just get the pesto.
Okay, so we're just draining a little bit of the excess oil here from the croquettes.
Yep.
They're looking fantastic. I know we meant to have some coming out now to the audience. I'm just going to go check where those are. Give me 1 second. You two carry on.
Do you guys have questions for us? Tarryn and I are very keen to share all the details.
Yeah, we love to gossip.
We've signed
What do you
contracts
wanna
and we
know?
don't care.
We do care.
Whoever's listening,
We care a lot.
we care.
But do you have any questions for us?
All right, what did I miss, guys? What did I miss?
No, nothing.
we were just talking about how we are very good at holding to our non-disclosure agreements.
Not sharing or spilling any secrets?
No, not at all.
So the green is creating quite a beautiful contrast
Yeah.
with that sort of orangey red sauce, the fresh pesto.
That's why I loved adding it, because not just does it add a herbaceous and bright element to your dish, it looks nice.
Looks beautiful too, absolutely. All right, I feel like everything's starting to come together.
Yes.
We've nearly done a few components still to go and samples that are coming out soon, so everyone can also try some of these beautiful croquettes. But I will invite a couple of you to come up front and actually try some of them fresh and hot once we've finished plating our dishes. And I'll also be giving away a little bit of a prize. So as you can see, both Andriëtte and Tarryn are plating in beautiful Mervyn Guer's bowls. Let me just create it so you can see how pretty they are. And I'm going to be giving away one today. They're incredible, handmade, beautiful bowls in Cape Town. Look at the stunning color of this one.
They're so beautiful.
So just want to check that you are paying attention, because I will be asking a question at the end. And the first person to give me the answer will win the stunning bowl.
I have no idea.
So Andriëtte, I see you've just sliced the butternut into your thirds, like we were saying with the plating, right?
yeah,
Threes.
that's
Okay.
I just do it because it's maybe out of
Habit.
gewoonte. Habit.
And we also have 3 croquettes in here. So I think we really aligned with everything that's going on here.
We were taught
look
well.
At those pickled onions. They look beautiful. Oh, no,
Yeah.
that is the pickled onion, right? Wow.
It's stunning. It adds such a
Incredible.
beautiful, glistening
It's like such a
color.
jewel color. It's gorgeous.
It almost looks like a little sweetie. It's very pretty.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Beautiful finishing touches here on the plate.
Are you getting paid to say this?
Well, I'm just getting my tips here. I'm going to practice all of these recipes when I get home. But they look fantastic.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's really
Amazing.
just want to make sure I do have everything. Just.
And have you guys tried some of the croquettes? Yeah? Good?
Butternut. Nice.
Butternut? Amazing. Okay.
Oh, this is stressful.
Yeah, no,
You
they
don't have 3 judges. You have a whole room full of people judging you. But you guys have to be nice, okay? Okay, fantastic. I'm just going to steal some of these.
Steal some fresh herbs.
Can
Yeah,
I?
they're beautiful.
Is there basil on that side?
There's a little bit of basil over here.
Ooh.
I'm sure we can take a few little leaves from the sky.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Beautiful. And I find the herbs are always best when they're freshly picked. I actually started growing some of my own herbs and tomatoes and things at home. And it really gives you this appreciation for how long it takes for something to actually grow from kind of seedling to
Yeah.
producing the first tomato. I mean, it's incredible. It gives you this real appreciation for your food. Well,
we
that
go.
looks beautiful. Whew.
There we go.
Can we wipe our foreheads? Are we done?
We have art.
And we've made it. Have we?
We've all made it. No
Thank
one's
you
going
so
home today.
much. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet both of you and have both of you here in the kitchen today.
Thank you.
Let's invite a couple people up to come and try some of these hot out of the stove, oven, everything that's been going on. Do you want to come up and try something? Come and join. I'm going to bring a couple of spoons.
Exciting.
Is it just you? The rest are too shy.
Here we go. Don't be shy. Come and try some. There we go. So no double dipping here. That's the only
I'm
thing,
going
everyone.
to have my mic here so that if you say something rude.
No, so I want to say, how can you not want to try this?
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy.
I hope
So
it's soft enough.
about this beautiful Mervyn Gares bowl over here.
I want it.
So the question I'm going to ask for the first one who can answer, Andriëtte added a herb to her pesto for a bit of extra bright flavor. There you go. You got it. Yay, amazing. There you go. Congratulations. We want to be seeing some beautiful food in that bowl. Post it on Instagram. Please tag us. Incredible.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies, so much.
You guys are so kind.
So we have another show in about 20 minutes or so, starting at 1 o'clock or just after 1, let's say 10 past 1. Give us a bit of time, bit of turnaround time. So please join us again. Thank you to those of you who have joined in from home. Please pop your questions into the chat, answer the polls. We've got a lot of cool stuff happening. Thank you so much, Tarryn. Thank you so much, Andriëtte. You two are just absolutely amazing.
Thank you for having us.